Good morning, everybody. It is October 25th. It's Friday. Get excited. Game day. It's 46 degrees out. Supposed to warm up. Sun's going to be peeking through. I would like to introduce my co-host, Fabian, also known as Rough Waters. Check him out. And our amazing guest, Mr. Jackson. I'm so excited to have you on the pod.
Thanks
I'm
for
just
having
excited
me.
to have a great conversation. Yeah. So can you tell me, little icebreaker, how many times do you think you say good morning?
Well, now that I'm at the front, seeing everyone walking, I lose track because it's kind of, I try to get everybody, but kind of impossible. But if I had to guesstimate, I would say at least 100 times.
Yeah.
100 plus, without a doubt.
Definitely, because we were talking in our fourth block. I was like, we have our video editing class, and I was like, what should I ask Mr. Jackson? And someone was like, how many times do you think he says good morning in a day? And I'm like, I don't think there's a person in Ocean Township that says good morning more.
Oh, it's a classic. It's a classic.
It's a classic.
Yeah,
like,
classic
you can't walk in the building
Good
without
morning.
hearing that.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yes. I think you also project, too. Like, when it's different when someone says good morning to me and when Mr. Jackson says good morning to me.
It's the tone of voice.
It's the singer in me, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So I also wanted to get to that. We have a musician in the house.
Yeah?
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah, I dance a little bit, so...
Okay.
Can you
artist in the building.
Yeah, can you tell me about your place in art?
Yeah, like how I got into it?
Yeah, definitely. Just anything about it.
I used to be into sports, like very heavily into sports, and when I was younger, I had to have emergency surgery on my knee, so it took me out of sports for a while. Then I took the music route, and I was the lead in the show, and then, I didn't know. I sang in church and things like that, but really when I solidified my, career in music was my senior year of high school, where we have this thing called All Shore. There's All Shore Band, All Shore Chorus. I was in All Shore Chorus, and I auditioned and I got first chair, which is like the highest scoring in that cohort. So I was first chair at bass 1, and I also won a scholarship that year. So that kind of solidified me going into the next step, which was college, where I studied music education at Mason Gross School of the Arts at Rutgers. And then I went on to be a choir director for 8 years.
Wow. So you're a bass?
Yeah.
Oh, so
bass
you
baritone,
get
baritone.
So you get all those low.
All the low notes.
Yeah,
How was your experience at Mason Gross? I heard that's an amazing school.
Yeah, I loved it. It wasn't my first choice at first. I wanted to go to a school called Westminster Choir College, which is a small conservatory, but Rutgers gave me the most money, to be honest. So I chose Rutgers. It's a arts college within a bigger liberal arts college, which is exactly what I wanted. I didn't want to stay contained to just music people. I'm very social, so I wanted to get out there and talk to other people outside of the music scene. And one of the groups that I was in really encompassed a lot of people who weren't actually music majors. We had scientists, we had mathematicians, engineers, all in the same choirs, which was also really cool, a cool experience. But I loved everything about Mason Gross, from the faculty to the events to just the camaraderie that it had.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think that's something that people in Ocean Township, especially students, don't know about you, but it's like an undiscovered Mr. Jackson.
Until people Google
thing.
my name.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're like, oh, choir. What's your favorite thing to sing? Like, what do you like to sing the most?
So I'm classically trained, so that's what I know. That's what I'm most comfortable with. You always get nervous. I'm sure you get nervous going out to dance. What do you play?
I produce, so I make
really?
instrumentals. Yeah,
so you're making beats and everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So you always get nervous if you produce live ever. You go out to dance. I get nervous singing, but I still get hired to actually sing. And I was actually in a musical last year, which some students actually came to see at the Count Basie Theater. So.
Oh, nice. What musical were you in?
It was called The Prom.
Oh, nice.
And I played the role of, surprise, the principal.
Wow. I was in a musical this summer. It was my first musical. I did Seussical, and I was a Wickersham brother.
Wickersham brother.
Yeah, so I was a bass. So
Yeah.
I got my first singing experience, and it was an amazing time. I mean, the like camaraderie-ness of choir and singing all together is like the coolest thing ever, because you'll like do it one by one. They'll be like, altos go, and then like tenors go, and then you guys all do it together, and it's just such a like an expansive.
Especially when it comes together.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
it's
in
amazing.
Seussical when I was younger too.
What were you?
Yertle the turtle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a fun role. That's exciting. That's like, oh, that's so fun for you.
No, it's definitely fun. And now that I'm not teaching music, it's a hobby that I love. I loved it when I did music, but it became a job. When I taught music, it became a job. But now that I'm not teaching music, it's my love for it is.
Yeah.
It was always there, but it's growing even more now.
I want to circle back to that, but my last question regarding this: when you're in the car, what are you like? This is what I want to sing right now. I'm throwing this one on.
It depends on the mood, but can never go wrong with some Bruno Mars. Now, I'm not a tenor, but Bruno Mars, I'm in the car, I can scream at the top of my lungs.
For sure.
Yeah.
So anything Bruno Mars, I'll.
Yeah.
I was wondering, considering your musical background,
Yeah.
and then we also have in Ocean Township, we have our theater groups, we have the VPA, we have our musical, groups and classes. Is there anything that ideas you've had or things that you'd like to add to that, or any I guess specific part that you have more interest in or that you like to work with?
Like have my input in.
Yeah.
So the foundation that has been built here has been phenomenal. And in the facilities that you have here, it's just unheard of really for other schools. And I've spoken a lot with Mr. Kernizan, because we come from the music background, right? And I've spoken to Miss Leahy, who's the supervisor of the Visual Performing Arts, about ideas, how to grow the program, how to make it bigger.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I know that's what the focus is on right now. So anything I can do to help with that, I'm all for helping.
One cool thing that I've been thinking about, here we have an amazing area. I mean, we have this this podcast room,
Right.
The green screen and all the stuff that we need to make good, film and production. But when it comes to our music, I think if Mr. Kernizan and Mr. Timmis would be on board with it, Spartan Studios would be amazing.
Spartan
We have
Studios.
that great room in the music tech room, the music theory room, and over here, it'd be great to set up a mic, have our little like Spartan album, come out with students making their own songs, learning how to, produce and do audio engineering, record their own stuff. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, you've been in the music tech lab?
Yeah, I took both of the music tech classes. I'm
okay.
currently taking music theory, and we have a lot of great resources. It's a great area, and I think that would be a great step to take.
Another step. Just
if you're
to
on
add
board with it, if
to
everybody else is on board with it, that would be a great thing
That
to do.
sounds like
yeah.
an awesome idea, and I think you can pitch that to Mr.
For
Curtis
sure.
and Mr. Titmus, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'll support it.
Yeah,
But,
great.
you want to
Yeah.
get the teachers involved.
Of course, yeah.
So when we circle back to your background in teaching music, how did you finally, well, first, where did you teach music, and then how did that funnel into what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I taught in Carteret for 8 years. I was also the artistic director of the Rutgers Children's Choir, which is a community choir at Rutgers. And I did that for about 2 to 3 years because then COVID happened. But how did that lead me here?
Yes.
It didn't really lead me here, right? Music and administration is quite different. But I'll tell you what I learned from teaching music that I bring into my administrative role, which is empathy, compassion, understanding, and also accountability and discipline. And you both know as artists, right? You have to be disciplined in what you do. So getting the students to understand that, but also understanding where they come from, their background, what they're going through. Every day is different. I was not just a choir teacher. I was also the therapist. I was also the father figure, and all of these things that was my unofficial title. But those are the things that I learned, and I brought that with me into my administrative role. Why did I want to become an administrator? So in my former school, it was the fact that I had the trust of the building leadership that wanted my input, because they saw what I did with the choir program, which the choir program started out with nothing really. I remember when I was interviewing, the principal said, you're walking into a job with 0 resources. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, well, what's my budget? What budget am I working with? And he said, $0. I said, oh, okay. So I used my resources, friends, donations, went out into the community, but I really built up something that started at nothing to an award-winning group, or many award-winning groups, but an award-winning choir program. So I think I wanted to get into administration to do that school-wide, to bring programs to the school and improve the student life, and also just bring my ideas to the forefront of education.
I think that's amazing. I am going into education, and I don't know if I want to go down an admin route.
Yeah.
Obviously, last year was your first year here and doing administration. Reflecting on your last year in Ocean Township High School, what would you say was the biggest jump from being a teacher to administration that you weren't fully ready for, but like you can look back and be like, that was definitely the biggest jump for me? Like,
yeah, I would say coming out of the classroom, in the classroom as a teacher, you have really complete autonomy over your classroom. You can make the rules, the expectations in your classroom, right? As going into administration, you're building wide now. You have to get consensus. You have to get everyone to understand why, prove why, show why, and then get the masses to do it, right?
Yeah.
To hop on board, because it's not what I feel is right. It's what's right for the students, or what's right for the safety and security of the building, things like that. So I think that was the biggest jump in understanding that aspect, right? You're usually so secluded in just your classroom, but when you get out of your classroom and, I guess, zoom out of the teacher lens and really get that whole school lens, I think that was the biggest eye-opener, I would say.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite part or favorite thing about the Ocean Township Spartan, like community,
Yeah.
the way that we work here?
I really enjoy how everyone comes together, and the school spirit that this place has. The students, and in my role, I know as the disciplinarian, right, people often look at me like, oh, I don't want to get on his side or any, but I like to form those relationships. Yeah, I'm going to care about you. I'm going to expect good of you, and I'll be here for you, but I'm also going to hold you accountable to the things, to the school rules and things like that. So, I think my first year, people didn't know me as much, but I think people have formed different relationships with me, which, I have I think a better impact.
Yeah, that's what's important.
Yeah, I agree.
Relationships.
definitely. So year 1, you come in, you're doing your thing. It's year 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say going into this year you're more focused on, and things that you learned from year 1 that you could take into where you're at now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's two-pronged. Like, personally, in this position, I needed to get more grounded. I needed to be confident in my decision-making. I needed to stand by my decision-making, right? So that's one thing I worked on personally and professionally. I think as an administrator, often we are putting out fires, not legit fires, obviously, but metaphorically putting out
figurative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're putting out fires every 5 minutes. So for me, it was prioritizing what fires to put out and when, right? So I think that's something that I worked on from year 1 to year 2, and something I'm continuing to work on. You'll never be a master at that.
Yeah, I understand. So you are the policy maker. You are the policies.
Not the policy maker. That's the Board of Education.
So,
I'm the
well,
enforcer.
you're the enforcer.
Enforcer,
That's
yeah.
what I'm looking for. So, with new policies in place, can you tell us about the policies that we have in place this year that you stand by, and what's your opinion on them?
Yeah, well, I'll stand by all the policies,
Yes,
of course.
well, yes.
But the new policies, like the cell phone policy, I think that's a huge thing. We've done the research behind bell-to-bell no cell and the impact of the social emotional aspect of the students, the teacher, and the classroom environment. We've created a task force of parents, students, to get all the perspectives before we rolled it out. That way we knew from the different perspectives and we could anticipate potential challenges. And I have to say that challenges that we anticipated, yeah, they're there, but they're not as grand as we anticipated them to be.
Yes.
Right? But I think it's having a significant impact on the classroom, the students, the interaction that students are having. I mean, you're living it. You're in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yesterday or 2 days ago, we talked to a few students and they said, we're talking more. We're actually collaborating in class more. So that's definitely a difference from years past where you guys were used to your cell phones. And we knew it was going to be hard. We knew it. But we knew that you could do it and surpass that expectation.
Yeah, I would say that I'm a person that I think I've been going bell-to-bell no cell for a long time. I have 0 service in school, so there's not even a point for me to go on my phone. So I've
it's
kind
like
of
door-to-door no cell, really.
it's actually like close to the school parking lot.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
As soon as I leave, no cell.
Yeah. I think it's been going pretty good. I think it's been having a really good effect on like the community, and like personally, I mean, of course, stay focused in school, but sometimes there are times where you finished your work and you're kind of relaxed, and that's when I used to kind of like go on my phone a little bit, but now I've realized, like, okay, if I've finished my work, I have now a book that I've been reading that's a lot better, or I can work on my writing skills, my songwriting, this and that. And now, because that's what I should do, that's the only thing I can do, I've been more motivated to do it, and happier after school that I've been getting more done, and focusing on like my passion when I can,
Right.
I think that's a really good thing that's been coming out of it,
Absolutely. Now, I know you're supposed to ask me a question, but let me ask you a question. What challenges have you encountered with?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think that bell-to-bell no cell, it's the only like problem I've had with it is there's just it feels, I don't know, it feels a little more rigid. Like I feel like everybody's a little more like uptight, like if someone grabs their phone, it's like super like it's a problem. When I felt like in years past, the culture around it was kind of like, just don't go on your phone when I'm doing something. And at least for me, obviously this isn't true for everybody. Yeah. I felt like I was in a place, if I had service or not, to where, but I could have done other things without service. Yeah. But to where I had the ability to be like, I'll just put my phone down and listen. I felt like I was in a place to do that. So in a way, I felt that it wasn't like taken away from me, but I was like, I would have been okay if it had stayed. Mm-hmm. So I felt that was the only thing I felt. And obviously now I'm completely fine. I mean, I love talking to people.
Yeah.
But if we were to not be in the position we're in, I think I would have still, I don't think it's affected me heavily. Yeah. If I'm going to be completely honest.
I think it's, so of course it takes time. I think it's great that now what's come out of it is now that you can't use your phone, you have to, you're kind of forced, but it shouldn't be, you shouldn't say forced, but you should talk to the people around you, build a community with the people in your class. And of course that's the way it should go, but it's taking a little bit of time because of course when that first started happening, people are used to kind of just being in their own space, just talking to their own friends in different classes, like online. So everybody's just kind of quiet, and in some of my classes, you'll see there are points where, usually when you kind of imagine people like talking when we're supposed to be talking about a certain topic or, just, you're working with your friends, a lot of people kind of just stay in their own zone. It's a dead quiet classroom, and it feels kind of weird, and the natural thing is, I want to talk to someone, let me talk to my friends, but you're like, oh, wow, I got to actually like talk to the people around me that maybe I don't know as well, so it's definitely taking some getting used to. And it's a great thing when it actually comes together and you know, when the teachers interact with the class and people start, you know, like talking to each other and building off of that, because then you find yourself talking to people that you haven't talked to in the last, you know, 8 years that we've been in the Ocean Township school system. But one thing that's kind of hard to get used to for me is, you know, I wouldn't say I'm more introverted, but I have like a few people that I kind of I talk to, you know, like a few. And usually when something happens or during school and I need to be social, I'll be like, oh, like, how'd your class go? Like, what happened? And they'll tell me about their day. I'll talk about my day, you know, and kind of interact over that. Now I can't really communicate with the people that, like the few friends that I have that are in the school that don't have classes with me. So I don't really see them anymore or talk to them, you know, and it's fine, you know, in between classes, maybe I'll just get a little like, oh, what's up? Like, how are you doing? Or after school, we'll talk about our days. But, you know, that was kind of hard to get used to, kind of feeling that like separation from the people that I don't see in the school. But, you know, I'm glad that it has opened up, that now I have to, you know, meet other people, talk to others, you know, and that's slowly over time. And I know throughout the year going to help me, you know, make new connections.
Especially in the career that I think you want to take as a producer.
Yeah. That's really important, you know. And
like you said, people use their cell phones as the safeguard, right? They feel safe
doing that.
Like, I don't have to talk to you, but I can do this in my phone, right? And not have to face reality. And often we try to find an escape. Before cell phones, it used to be like TV or reading a book, trying to just escape reality.
Put some headphones on.
Exactly. But then we got listen to music. But then we got to a point, and I think especially during like 2020 during COVID, like everyone was virtually learning, and we only had our phones to really communicate with people.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know there's some videos, I guess, like online of like Ocean Township or other high schools, but also there's one of Ocean Township, like I don't know when it was, like either early 2000s or the 90s or something, where there's a lot of like the students, there's footage of like the students like all like communicating and talking and joking and having fun.
Like,
and that's like, wow.
But
like,
so,
that seems like a movie.
That's
Where did
something
that
I wanted
go?
to get into.
It's like aliens.
But it's also,
This is the other policy I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
Bathroom policy.
Yeah.
So when we look back to the, like, I know exactly what he's talking about. I'll be scrolling on Instagram and I see these like found footage videos of like, this was like Homedale High School in 1994. In the hallways are like, everybody's in the hallway. Everybody's like
hanging out.
It's crazy. Everybody's hanging out. Everybody has like, some dude's playing music.
It looks like a high school movie.
There's a dance battle breaking
weird.
out.
Like
it's like
a movie.
It's like a movie. It's literally like High School Musical.
Yeah, there's an Ocean Township one. There is one.
There
that
literally is
look
an
on,
Ocean Township.
You see the guys with their like the varsity jackets, you know, like talking, making jokes.
It was like 2003. Like my mom was like here. Like I was like, whoa, she was in class. But it's like, the only thing with the bathroom policy is, I feel. Obviously, I mean, how the bathroom policy works, I think it's good that people are going to the bathroom and getting back. When it comes to leaving class, skipping class, like, it's a no.
Yeah.
But I felt, especially, like, not just here, like, with Spartan Update and going out and seeing people and asking questions, I feel that it's kind of been drawn back a little bit with, like, when we go out in the morning sometimes to film, there's, like, nobody.
Nobody there, yeah.
Like, it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm asking teachers on duty questions. Can you tell me what you find positive with that policy and like where that shines and what you wish could like change a little bit?
So I think the positive is that people are in their classrooms, students are learning. Students are engaged in the instruction, and I think that that's a huge positive. That bathroom policy mixed with the cell phone policy made a recipe for people to actually engage in the classroom.
Yes.
When most people wanted to engage in the hallways because they had their phone and had FOMO, right? They needed to be in the action. But with their phones away, there's no fear of missing out. You can now focus on your classrooms. Yeah, I think that's a positive thing. I think we're here for, 6 hours a day? And when we're in class, we need to be in class. Negative-wise, I don't really see a negative side to that, aside from where, and this might not be a negative, it might be an adjustment.
Yeah.
Which is where you guys come in and do the hallway interactions
Roving,
for the
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think
which you're
it's-
not running into a lot of students.
Definitely, I think we're in a position where it's like a little bit of a culture shock. You understand? Like, well, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like
'Cause everything's new.
everything's new,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we were in a position where there was like
So much movement.
there was so much like free like we came in what 2021.
Yeah, I think so.
and
yeah.
now it's 2025 graduation.
Almost, yeah.
We've been here for all the change, and I honestly think that where we're at now is a positive place.
Yeah.
Just an adjustment. Yeah.
I do want to say real quick with the like the phone stuff, and I think that's great for the seniors for preparing for like college, because that's kind of more
Yeah,
along the lines of
definitely.
how college is going to work. You're not going to have people that you could just text and be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, you have to meet new people. You know, there isn't like hallways, and like you're in your class, you're talking to people within your class. That's great. And I definitely think, of course, you know, we're in school. Learning is the priority. You know, that's
Right.
what should be focused on when it comes to the policies and with like the bathroom stuff, you know. But when I see like some negatives that come out of it, you know, people, of course, policies can help everybody stay online and track. But some people, you know, it's their you can't change their decisions. And maybe, of course, gradually. But as a student, if I'm in my class and there's one like bathroom pass, and that student decides they want to go out and take like 30 minutes, well, now I can't use the bathroom for 30 minutes.
That's
and of
a-
course, it's like, you can't really do anything about it. That's kind of the student has to figure it out, and the teachers usually will like talk to them and help them get through it. And of course, you'll see change over time. So that's the one thing that I kind of saw with it, that was just like, all right, but that's going to change a little bit as time goes on. Hopefully, people will learn. And then the other thing, it's not a direct thing. I don't think this really is something that could be changed. But back on with what Mikey was talking about when he mentioned like negatives, it just feels like, with the community, when there's people out in the hallways, this is kind of in between classes, you still get this. So it's not really that big of a change, but it makes it feel less like a quote unquote ghost town. It makes it feel like, oh, there's activity going on around me. I'm within a community where like, there's stuff going on. Like I could hear like, oh, these people were talking like about this. And my friend, he said that like, he talked to this person and they said this. And, there's more of a community, as opposed to now it's just like, oh, you only see the people that are in your classes. And now there's people that are like, I don't have any classes with this semester that I probably haven't like seen at all, like the whole school year. It's like
I totally get that.
So that's the one thing out of it, but you can't really change that,
Right.
and there's more positives, I guess, that come out of it than those quote unquote negatives, and I am excited for, I guess, next semester when I will see more people and be able to, so that's a good that comes out of it.
And I think to touch on the first point, that students being out of class for too long, it provides an opportunity for them to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Right? As annoying as it might be as a student waiting for the pass, right?
Yeah.
That student is now held accountable, right? And then the second part is, I know we're potentially restructuring the school day and what that looks like. And I
was just gonna get into that.
I'm pretty sure that we are building in time where that is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, me and 5-Star Fab over here.
5-star fab.
Oh, he's got so many nicknames. The Jersey Devil. Can you list them off?
Oh Lord. We got Scorpio Boy, 5-Star Fab the Freshman, Rough Waters, Ruffy, Ruffy Watts.
Where's my favorite?
What is
The
your
Jersey
favorite?
Devil.
Jersey Devil. we got a bunch of names coming up. Yeah.
So we're both seniors. We're
Yeah.
honestly
Yeah.
at this point, everybody in this room, well, in the room we're in, is seniors. We're almost old news at this point, and I feel that this conversation we're having can be beneficial to the class of 2026 under us and on. So if you could touch on the schedule that's going to be implemented next year that we won't face, what is changing with that from where we're at now?
So at this point, nothing is being implemented yet. There's a process that we have to go through in getting approval, but the conversations have started, right?
Okay.
And I think the most important thing to realize when we're potentially moving to a new schedule is that the 82-minute block, right? That's a long time.
Yes.
Might not be feasible anymore, right? So we looked at different options, and the option that became most appealing was a rotate and drop model.
That's 6, right?
Yeah, which you'll have a AM and a PM rotation.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this. If you could,
No,
explain.
there'll be more conversations about this
yeah.
from Mrs. Kazuba, and I'll let her speak on that because she's done a lot of the work behind the scenes for the
That is
potential
not
new schedule.
That is not for us.
No,
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
it will be. You're going to be part of the conversation. Students will be part of the conversation.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
When it
it won't
wouldn't
affect
happen
you
this year.
Yeah, correct.
But
It wouldn't affect you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the benefits of going to that is a unit lunch, which everyone will have lunch together in time for that social interaction.
Everybody?
And the whole building. Yes,
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And it may look a little chaotic, but it's
how
actually
big
pretty
is that gonna be?
structured. It's people will be in different locations. This is again.
So it wouldn't just be the lunchroom.
Correct.
Okay.
Are we gonna have to
correct.
go back to like, was that COVID where we had lunch in the gym too? Would we have to go back to they used to set up folding tables in the gym like.
Oh, I remember that.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't here.
No, I was not.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Was that while we were here, or was that in the middle school?
21 to 22, our freshman year. You don't remember when you could go sit in the lunchroom, or you could sit in that one side of the gym where it was folding table. Were you at communications by that point?
I was at communications.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So I don't
I was
remember
like, I
that.
don't remember that.
yeah, we had. Okay, so I'm the only one that knows about this.
Yeah.
It was the lunchroom had everything that it is. You could sit outside, obviously, when it was warmer out. And then they used to put tables in the gym. Like, they used to put tables out. How would that work doing a full... Do we have the space to do that?
Yeah. Oh, yes. The answer is yes. But
You're going to make some friends at lunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
allow for the social interaction. It would allow for teachers to, or club advisors or coaches to have lunch with the sports team or anything like that. But it gives a little more opportunity. It gives the opportunity for people to go lift weights during lunch period, if that's the case. But I can tell you, this is not being pioneered here. This is existing in other schools.
Yes.
And there was a team here that went out to multiple other schools to see it in action, and other schools with a greater student body. Like they have some schools have 2,000 people.
Yeah, like a group 5 school.
Exactly.
Yes.
They do the same thing and get lunch out in maybe 5 to 7 minutes to all of the students.
A unit lunch.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right?
2,000 people.
I know.
And we're like 800?
No, we're close to 1,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I know this isn't set yet, but when it would come to like a group lunch, a total lunch with everybody in the school, is it kind of, I don't know if you know yet, but would it be like set to where you have to go, or can you choose like if you want to, if your friends are here, can you go over to the lunchroom?
So we're still working out those details, but it would be more fluid in which you can.
That would
go
be great.
to
That's
location,
amazing.
location.
I heard something. This is actually happening now, about you could go play basketball. I heard saw it in an Instagram post.
Yes.
I don't know who posted it. Like what? There's so many OTHS class. Like whatever.
It's
Yeah.
OTHS _Spartan _ I believe.
Yeah,
Okay.
like there's so many accounts, but I was scrolling and I saw it was like each day there was something different. You could go play basketball one day. This is like now. Like there's
Correct.
people playing basketball on Tuesday.
So yes,
Really?
so in addition to the cell phone, we know that the cell phones impact students' social emotional learning. So we wanted to give students an opportunity to do that stuff. In the morning, they can do yoga or mindfulness activities, art.
Yeah.
During the lunch period, they can play basketball. They can play cornhole or things like that, just to reset. Sometimes people just need to reset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, and we can provide that, why not provide it? you
Yeah,
know?
That's
it's like
important.
I don't know how it was. Is there a different thing every day? Is that how it was?
I
set up in the
haven't
post?
seen that schedule, but I believe that's how it's working out.
Yeah.
There's going to be a different activity every day.
Yeah, I think like the way I saw it is it was like periodic. It was like a week.
Yeah.
Like it was like something here, something here, something here. And I just remember basketball. That was like off the top of my head what I had remembered from the post that I saw. But yeah, I think that's amazing.
I think what's kind of important, I feel like, because we were just talking about this with the student body, you were saying it might be switched to 6 classes, or I assume just
It's
more
like
than it currently
it's
is?
a drag and drop type of schedule,
Okay.
right? Where it's like, I don't know. I'm happy that I'm in the position I'm in because that would confuse me. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
going to be an adjustment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so my niece was actually in one of the schools that they visited, and she said, at first it might be confusing, but
Yeah.
you get used to it because the days would be set.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always going to be on that rotation.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
how confusing this schedule was when we came here from the middle school?
And
but then we
change
got
is
used to it.
always
Yeah.
change is
Yeah.
always
But I don't know if other people feel the same way, or Mikey, you could tell me. But I feel like with this schedule, I'm glad I'm taking like 2 APs right now, so they go back and forth between red and white day. But besides for that, having like the full, I guess, like hour and 20 minutes every day, it's kind of hard, especially I have like ADHD. It makes it a little bit hard to kind of focus in the class. I don't know if I could do a full hour and 20 minutes. And
right.
at first it's fine, but then like when it starts getting like longer and longer
Yeah.
into the semester, doing the same every day is kind of like, it takes a little bit of a toll in trying to keep the energy up, trying to like stay
Yeah.
focused.
And that's
So-
where you see people going out in the hallways
Yeah,
and being out in the
exactly,
bathroom a little bit
exactly.
longer because
So I definitely think
yeah,
that
with
having, if I don't know if I assume if we had more blocks, they would have to be shorter or would go in and out,
Yes.
which would be better. And that, because I get excited, every day when I see, now I have this class this
Yeah.
day, this class this day. It adds some variation, it doesn't make it
Yeah,
seem like every
that's
day I'm
what-
going
Right.
into the same exact thing. There's less to be expected, something new could happen,
exactly.
And that's
and
what's
the cool
important.
thing about the rotating part is that you don't see the same teacher at the same time every day.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think from a person who doesn't take APs, I think obviously we have a lot of students that don't take APs.
Yeah.
And in the position I'm in, I feel like I kind of like there's like a positive and a negative to where I'm at in school. I'm going to graduate and I've had this schedule 4 years through. But because I don't switch classes or anything like that, and this is my day every day, I feel as though like my day can get a little bit stagnant. Like there's times where I'm like, okay, well,
Going through the motions,
I'm about
right?
to come in and do the same thing.
Yeah.
And an amazing thing with the schedule that we have now is sometimes I'll be able to finish work in class. So I'm able to, I have a very hefty dance schedule after school. So it gives me the opportunity to focus on those things because a lot of my work in school is done. And I'm able to finish things better with the time allotted. But I feel like with where I'm at, it can feel slow. It can feel like, okay, I'm going to be here for a while. I'm going to be there for a while. And it's kind of it kind of is like a same everyday feeling, but there's a positive and a negative
Yeah.
for me.
I'm sad to say, like, recently, it just started where I've gotten to the point in the semester where I've started looking at the clock now a little bit. I never did that. I don't want to do that. But now I'm sitting in my class, and it's like the first time, and it's like, I look at the clock, and I'm like, oh, wow.
You don't
I still
do that
haven't,
in fourth block?
I still haven't.
Like, that's not a
I
fourth
didn't
block
before
thing.
because I like my classes. They're still fairly new, enjoyable. I'm
No, it's
engaged.
October.
But now,
It's October.
But now because I know it's October, but now because like it's kind of in the same schedule every
Yeah.
day, I start thinking like, oh, like now I know how long it's supposed to feel, and when it's not like going on a
Feeling
time where I
right.
feel, I
Yeah.
like look at the clock and I'm like, oh wow, I have an hour left of this block before I get to go to
Oh,
like this
yeah.
class,
I feel that third block. Third
Yeah.
block is where it really
Exactly.
cuts at me. I'm like,
I know,
I have
yeah.
sea lunch. I'm like, when is lunch?
Yeah.
28.
But I like that we have the lunch in the
Whoa.
middle. It gives you like a little like a break, and then
Yeah,
you get back
exactly.
into the class.
That is a
And
very nice thing
something
about
that
the
I
lunch
think
schedule.
is really important with like if we were to change. You were saying you wouldn't have the same teachers at the same times, right? With that schedule. I remember, so I didn't have gym here freshman year, but then sophomore and junior year, I had gym first thing in the morning, first block. And that was kind of a little bit of a problem for me. I don't really enjoy that because I love gym, I love, physical activity and like playing football or
Yeah.
whatever. But first thing in the morning, I'm not a morning person at all. I can't
Yeah,
function.
I'm the opposite.
My
end of the
brain
spectrum.
doesn't work.
Loved it.
I can't do that, But and then I kind of do that every day. So if it were to change, and also I feel bad because the teachers I have in the morning, they're not really getting
the fullest
the
out
full
of you. Yeah.
me, you know, like all my learning capabilities versus at
Right.
the end of the day, you know, I'm on point. I'm ready to learn, you know. So if it were to change up, you know, I think that would be a lot more fair, especially to like the teachers, and it would be good for the students to kind of have some variation. You know,
Right.
that would be
No, I
really
agree.
good.
On a teacher schedule, would that change around, like, for a teacher, like a prep period or something like that? Would that flip for them?
Mm-hmm. So it will always be rotating, but
Oh,
we are
okay.
already in conversations with teachers about what that looks like.
Yeah,
That's
because
great.
not just from our perspective. I mean, I'm going to take an administrator view.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a teacher at this point in time has a set prep period and has their set lunch. That would also change for them.
The
So-
lunch wouldn't.
Oh, the lunch. Oh, yeah,
everyone
because it
in
would
the
be that
building.
unit lunch.
Yeah.
But that, like, their prep would change,
Yeah.
and the way that works,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 6 classes, so it would be an adjustment for them as well.
Absolutely, which we would, provide
Yes.
training for that leading up to it. We wouldn't just go right into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
If that's the schedule
Thrown
that's
into the
decided
fire.
on. Yeah,
That would be,
It sounds like it's all going in the right direction, and it sounds good.
I think
Yeah.
everything that's being put in place is for a good reason.
Of course, yeah.
And it's an adjustment
Yeah.
for anything that has been put in place, but all for the right reasons and going in the right direction.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best. Like,
And to hear that from students is
Yeah.
also very
definitely, yeah, because if I was going to be myself and be like, well, I want to have my phone, like,
Mhm,
what? Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to go
Yeah,
to
but
the,
you're
why
thinking
can't I go to
just
the
for
bathroom?
you at that
Yeah.
point,
But
right?
yeah, that's
Exactly.
it's selfish of me to think like that because I understand,
Yeah.
and sometimes I also want to be like, I understand why it's here,
Yeah,
but
but I don't want it.
I don't
Right.
want it to be there, obviously. But
Yeah.
I'm honestly in a position now, you know, it's October, that I feel like it's good, and I think that everything that's happening is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling too.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
to be here in October and to hear that the changes that have been implemented are having a positive effect
Yes.
on not just you guys, but the school as a whole. I think
Yes.
that's the most important part. And we have to meet the needs of all stakeholders, students, faculty,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yes.
And sometimes that's hard to do, but when we're working together to do it,
Hmm.
it feels a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question off track, but
Okay.
very Ocean Township related.
Oh.
Have you been able to get out to any Ocean Township sports, and which one is your favorite to watch?
I have. I actually went to 2 football games,
Okay.
and I actually went to the semis last night, the boys soccer.
Oh, rough. Tough
but
loss.
Such a good game.
Yeah,
like
amazing.
they played with heart and soul all the way to the last second. Yeah, it was a tough loss, but
They're amazing.
even to get to that point,
yeah.
Yeah.
they were incredible. And I wish I went to more games, but they were absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they had some stunner games, like
Yeah.
the past 3 games. They've
Yeah.
had great games. My fourth block, they're all in my 4th
Uh-huh.
block, and we talk about it right before game day. Like, I sit next to all of them in this
Mhm.
room,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. I mean,
Yeah. Last
So-
year I went to some basketball
yeah.
games. I went to a gymnastics meet. I mean, I like to support where I can and
Yeah.
when I can. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
definitely. So, what would you say is your favorite?
That's funny. I wouldn't say I have a favorite. And I don't think I should say I have a
Yeah, I was
favorite.
gonna say that, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say? The Spartan dancers? Yeah.
No, yeah, I think we're fun.
No, you guys are great at performance. I actually told Miss Worthwine the other day that watching you guys is always a joy. Just seeing the energy that you guys bring.
I think our culture surrounding football in the past year, not even just dance, cheer, football, the new lights that came
Oh,
in.
look
Oh my
awesome.
gosh!
I haven't seen that yet.
You
You gotta go
come
out there.
I haven't
tonight.
gotten to that.
Tonight,
If you can.
yeah, I'll be
Tonight,
there.
Okay.
Come
All right.
tonight.
So the pressure's on. We'll
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
both be there.
It's senior night, so we're gonna get walked out. They do. It's like this new lighting where,
It's like
in
a light
football, yeah, it's like a light show. They have red,
White,
and then
blue,
red, white, and blue lights,
and they can change the color.
and then they can also go completely dark.
yeah, like when they get
So
a touchdown.
when they score a touchdown, it'll go red, white, black, but
Yeah.
fast, and it's a crazy the first time I didn't know it was a thing, but I had got out on the field to do halftime, and they do the lights at this specific time. They do it when we all push up off the
Oh,
ground.
I watched that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And that was the first time I had ever seen the
When,
lights.
last week?
And I was
Oh.
or it was our first home game.
Okay.
When we did it, that was the first time I ever saw the lights, and it was while I was dancing, and I was like, "Oh,
So
my
cool.
gosh.
So fun.
I know you can't say, but I think football games are my favorite, and the dance halftime show.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the coolest things that.
I think
about
the coolest
football
part
game,
is that
you know?
there's something different to like about every single sport.
Yeah, that's
I
true,
think
that's
that's
true.
the best part about our
Yeah.
sports. Is
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
like so many things you could take from all of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
and not just sports included, even the musical choir
Yeah.
performances.
oh my God, the musical last year.
Mean
and,
Girls,
yeah,
phenomenal.
Mean Girls, amazing. They were on like Teen Art.
Teen Arts, yeah.
They did stuff at Teen Art, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have,
Yeah.
I think, just a great community of students who are dedicated to what
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
And I never knew about this class. Well, I had known, like, I had friends that had done broadcast media and had done Spartan Update, and I kind of looked up to them in that way because I always thought, like, Friday, like, that was the funniest thing is when you see your friends doing the Spartan Update.
Yeah.
I never knew how much, like,
Work went
Spartan
into
Update,
it.
yeah, and the culture that's behind it. I mean, they've had so many years of people that have gone on to be successful in media, like these
Yeah.
people up on the wall that have done
Yeah.
amazing things, so...
Yeah,
The culture here is amazing.
This is by far my favorite class. I mean, I love any class that I take that actually supports creativity, that supports you know your own ideas and doing them in your own way. And here, like as you see, we have our board
Yeah.
here where we're planning out what we're gonna do for next week.
Yeah.
And it's all us. We
And-
have to figure out when we're gonna film it. We have to, if we're doing a skill, we write the script. We're acting out.
It's real responsibilities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's real. That's what I feel like I learned the most from.
Yeah,
That's where my creativity comes
discovery
from.
of work environment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that you're an amazing role model to most people with your creativeness.
Thank you.
And what you bring to administration, I think, is amazing. What you bring to the table is a lot different than an administrator because people think of an administrator as like hard-hitting
yeah,
principal
right.
man, like scary.
Yeah.
Come to my office. But like, I think that you hold it down and you do all of that. But I think that you're very understanding and your creative background brings such a nice
Yeah.
environment to our school. So I'm very thankful that you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the fact that we can, as students, see how much you're trying to interact with the students and talking and it's asking how we're doing and good mornings, that shows that
I'm going to count next time.
Yeah. We can.
Have a little
that,
counter.
can- that is a perfect Spartan
Segment.
Update episode. He's going to like he should just have like a paper
All day.
and he's just gonna he's gonna go.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
good morning.
Yep.
Good morning.
I'm gonna umpire one of those.
Good morning.
clickers.
Yeah, the clickers. That would be like a good morning counter.
Be great.
Done.
Yeah, yeah,
We just
exactly.
splice it together. Just a
Done.
bunch of good mornings.
Done.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for talking today.
No,
I
thank
think
you for having
it
me.
was
and
amazing.
You guys asked some wonderful questions,
Yeah.
and I really
Thank you.
enjoyed our conversation
Yeah.
today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
anytime, let me know.
And that was Mr. Jackson.